Everybody, but we're also on
Tape.
We are deep down in the bowels. Episode 119 of Kamloops Last Week. Christopher Foltz, Magic Mike, and Bill. 119.
119 is, interestingly enough, the criminal code for bribery. If you're charged with bribery in Canada, it's under section 119 of the criminal code. And the interesting thing about that is, 65 years ago, last month, one of the greatest political scandals in British Columbia history happened. Robert Somers, who was the Ministry of Forest under the legendary Wacky Bennett, social credit, he resigned amid a scandal, and the next year he was convicted of bribery as forest manager in awarding forest licenses to companies. He went to jail for about 5 years under section 119. And here's a cool thing. He was a school teacher who got elected and became Minister of Forest, committed some bribery, went to jail for 5 years, 3 to 5 years, learned how to tune pianos, came out of jail, retired in Victoria until his death in 2000. He was one of the finest piano tuners in Victoria.
Well, you love Wacky Bennett, eh? No, the history of Wacky.
No, I just think he's one of the he's a legend.
Interesting. Like you don't love, but the history and it's interesting.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Piano tuner.
Piano tuners. They're that's a magic themselves. That's
see, had he not committed bribery under Section 119, many pianos in Victoria would be out of tune today.
You know, with pianos, you can do things to change the sound of them, like make the felt hammers harder or softer just by brushing them.
There you go.
To change the tonality, and a good piano tuner can make it so that the entire scale of the piano is
it's fascinating.
Is how they want it to sound.
Absolutely.
Moonlight Sonata. I think that's my favorite piano piece.
December 6th, today, that we're taping, is my dad's birthday.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. So a big shout out to Dad for his birthday. Last year, for his birthday, we made that big press announcement about winning the big award for our guitars.
That's
for
right.
Guitar of the Year.
Yep.
So this year, I don't have anything that cool to do, but yeah, we're shouting out my dad.
Is he turning 119, or how old is he?
Well, that's a good question. What is it?
Is this Lee himself? Is your dad's name Lee?
Lee Miltimore. That's Lee of Lee's Music. Yeah, so he must 69 this year.
Tough go not knowing his birthday.
Yeah,
I know his birthday.
Tough look. Not knowing his age is a tough look for you.
No, he's 68 this year. 68.
That's it. He's pretty young.
He's pretty young, yeah, and he's.
How old was he when he had you then?
19. My mom was. He was that age.
19.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. He was a young dad.
Yeah. So, and they got married early, and also this year, this is really exciting. He got a phone call from our association we belong to, the NAM, National Association of Music Merchants, and they said, congratulations on 50 years. And so I phoned up my dad and I said, Dad, do you realize it's been 50 years since you started the company? And we forgot. We almost missed our 50th anniversary, which is next year.
Cool. Well, happy birthday, Lee. Yes. Great job. 119. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We have a great show today. Mike, you know we have a great show today.
It's a spicy show today, yeah.
We can say that because we've already taped most of it. And we had the mayor on, Kamloops Mayor Reid Hamer-Jackson. We had Dale Bass on. Oh, and she's spicy. She's spicy today, Councillor Dale Bass. We also have, on a sad note, to talk about the accident that happened last week. What were your thoughts when what happened was there was an accident near TRU. A truck was going way too fast, somewhere around 100, maybe over, and it hit a small car, among other things. And in that car were 3 TRU WolfPack players, one who has passed away and 2 are in terrible condition. And
volleyball players. Yeah,
it's tragic.
We'll get more into that later, but what were your thoughts?
Needless, like there's a speed limit there. Why be going that fast? There's no need, and it's a tragedy. It's terrible. I
ended up going and visiting that site with the South Kamloops Titans volleyball team. So they had a huge win, a momentous win, their first ever, their school's first ever provincial senior boys volleyball title, the first one of its kind in the city, actually. And there was a tie-in. The guy who died, Owen McInnes, actually helped coach that team.
Wow.
And they found out about the accident while they were out there playing provincials. So they all bought orange shirts, and so did the parents, and they were wearing those orange shirts in warm-up and kind of playing for him, inspirational. They went down 2-0 in the final and came back and won that title and kind of in his honor and dedicated it to him. Their first order of business when they came back, so they stayed the night in Langley on Saturday night, drove straight back to Kamloops on Sunday morning, went right to the memorial site, and I went there and met them there and talked to a few of them about Owen and their experience with him. So we'll have that later on the show as well. On a more light note, you talked about Tal Bachman maybe coming on our show.
Oh, yeah, my buddy Tal Bachman. I've had, of course, he's the guy that had reached superstardom with this song, She's So High. And I think it's, every time I go into a grocery store or somewhere, it's always on, and I text him, go, hey, just heard your song. He must be so sick of that.
You know that song?
Oh, yeah.
But you know that one.
And Aphrodite.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, we chatted last week, and we were talking about sports and music and that kind of thing. And I thought he'd be good to have on because he's got a great story about singing the national anthem in New York, and the New York fans trying to trip him up. Yeah. So, and he's one of the greatest ranters I know on Facebook. So I thought maybe we could get him and Chris together and maybe share some of the folder dash.
And maybe bring Randy on as well, because they're...
Oh, maybe. Yeah, they're different people, but
his father Randy has a tie-in with the Blazers because they
taking care of business.
Yeah, of course. The big song as their motivational song.
Yeah, and Tel also does the a lot of the research for the vinyl. Not Vinyl Cafe, the Vinyl Tap with Randy Bachman. So
cool, good guess.
Is he in White Rock?
He's in Victoria, and I played ping pong one night with him till wee hours of the morning at a hipster hotel. It was one of the more surreal nights I've ever had.
Cool. You mentioned the Blazers there. Pay up. Both you guys owe me $10.
Oh yeah.
Teddy bear toss.
Oh, when was
second
it?
period.
Oh.
I got it.
Third period. I thought I won when I saw the thing, and I was like, "Oh, I finally won one." And I realized that it might have been a bad
the ultimate
bet.
Welcher. There's no way I'm getting that money.
I forgot about the bet, so I owe you $10.
Yep, $10.
I'll give it to you.
Oh, here you got. Look
20.
at that. He's got a 20.
All I've got is a 20 now.
He'll cover out, and I'll give you 10
No,
next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Announcement to make too. We got a new segment we're going to start next week. I don't even think I told you about this. We're going to start a monthly media panel. So we're going to get media types in the city to talk about the issues and what's going on.
Oh, I like that.
That's good. How we're covering it differently. I mean, we're not really covering it at all at this point. But I mean, on our show we are, but we don't have a paper or anything. So far we have Castanet, so Tim Petruk, who, by the way, thanks to Castanet, because they gave me a place to write about the TRU WolfPack and South Cam Titan story, so you can find that story on Castanet. So Tim will join us, or maybe Kristen Holiday from Castanet, whoever they want to send, whoever they want to send, and also CFJC, so James Peters, who is one of the great fans of this show, and he doesn't like you anymore. I think you've pissed him off too many times about Winnipeg or something.
It was Winnipeg. It was the mosquitoes, but they are big mosquitoes, aren't they? And you know what's worse is the little mosquitoes, because you get the worst bites, and they're the most itchy.
Yeah. Mosquitoes. Any thoughts on mosquitoes?
I don't like mosquitoes.
But I like the new segment idea. I think that's really good.
It should be cool. We've also invited Radio NL. Haven't heard back from them.
CBC.
And CBC. CBC is checking with their higher ups to see if there's some kind of a conflict with them coming on. So who knows how it'll turn out, but I'm looking forward to it. What stood out to you last night about council? Before we talk about Macar Ranch, because Mike, we have to talk about Macar Ranch, but let's tee up some council talk first. What stood out to you about the meeting last night?
Well, it was. I watched or listened to the whole meeting, and it was long. Again, it was, I think 4 hours long, maybe 3.5, 4 hours long. So I was doing some stuff and listening to it, and what it started out pretty good. It was like they were getting stuff done. They were having regular discourse, and then it kind of went off the rails again. And there was a lot of rancor and animosity between the mayor and several councillors over several issues. But that's almost to be expected now, right? It's like it happens, and people get pissed off at each other. The two things that I thought was interesting was the issues, like the actual issues. And I was looking forward to them. The one that we had talked about previously on the show a number of times is it's something that's boring and not sexy, but it's important to people. It's the collection of garbage, recycling, and organics. And this year, the city's gone to twice every 2 weeks instead of weekly garbage and recycling. And then during the winter months of December, January, February, they're going twice every 2 weeks for organics. And people were losing their mind over this because there's going to be long periods in December where you don't get garbage, recycling, or organics
between
picked up.
17 and 19 days.
Yeah, and it's longer than normal.
In the Christmas season.
We had the Councillor Bill Sarai here, I think, last week, and he said that, yes, he's heard that. In fact, he's hoping he's going to bring it up. Well, it came to council. Council talked about it. Staff came by with a report with 5 different recommendations. In the end, council decided to stay the course. Even if the voters are upset, they're staying the course, and they're looking at maybe next year trying to tweak it. That was interesting. The other interesting issue I thought at council was the Lansdowne Street bike lane proposal. In my mind, ludicrously overpriced, and $2.75 million for like 4 blocks. Holy shit! Anyway, that's the world today. It was defeated by council, not because of the cost, but because of safety concerns. Lansdowne's really narrow. It's a main truck route to Mission Flats, etc. It was interesting because I thought that was a slam dunk because of the active transportation plan, and cities really onto connecting the whole city with bike lanes. They just did the big multi-million-dollar 6th Avenue one. They did the trail through Peterson Creek Park before. Up by your place, they just did a few $1 million up Summit Drive, and then going to Huckta Trail and all the way down. I think the fact that they said no, we're not doing Lansdowne was I thought was interesting and was surprising, because I thought it was a fait accompli.
And pleased you agree with that decision not to do Lansdowne?
Well, I think the pricing. I think it's $1,400 a foot. How is that possible? I guess it is possible, but it just talks about the world today. It's just nuts. But I don't know why. And people say, well, now the 6th Avenue bike lane is a lane to nowhere. I disagree. You go down 6th Avenue, it's a pretty cool looking bike lane. You walk across Lansdowne. You can bike down the sidewalk that no one's ever on in front of London Drugs.
You're not supposed to bike on the sidewalk.
Well, you should. It's safer. Or you can go through the parking lot. And
what happens? What about people who are in wheelchairs on the sidewalk, and you're
you see them. You go around them. You're not going 100
go
miles
onto the road around them.
No, you just go around them. You walk. Okay, how about you walk your bike through the parking lot? But bingo, you're in the park and you're back on the trail again. It's not that big a deal.
It's not that big a deal.
It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
There's some flaws in your ideas.
No,
here.
In the whole scheme of things, that's probably the least important.
The point is to have a path that connects, though. Not stop, get off your bike, and potentially have to walk into traffic because there's a person in a wheelchair.
Oh God, yes. God forbid. We could be in Gaza right now. We could be in eastern Ukraine. That we're worried about getting off your bike.
We had our business for many years on 864 Victoria Street, I think it was, beside where Superior Propane used to be. And we'd have to take our trucks out and go on to Lansdowne to get our vehicle out of the back parking lot there. And that was really risky. It's like trying to leave the Memorial Arena.
Well, there's a blind corner coming.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah,
and there's
corner, yeah.
Even driving there, because there's a weird jog in the road. I'm sketched out driving just a regular car on that road, so I can't imagine if they put a bike lane in there.
Well, they decided against it for safety reasons. It's a very narrow street to begin with, and the idea was to take out the parking on the north side, put a bike lane in there. But then
you would probably like a gondola at some point to come down there and just put your bikes on that, eh?
But last show you said something I thought was really good, Chris. You said. Was it the last show? I think it was the north side should be taken out and the south side should be used for walking. So like the two different sidewalks, right?
Well,
Why not do that? It's just like odd side is for bikes and even sides for.
Well, just take out that
walking.
Sidewalk and just use the sidewalk.
Use the sidewalk.
You don't need the sidewalk. I'm downtown often now because I got nothing else to
take the sidewalk out.
That's the walking sidewalk. This is the biking sidewalk.
Sidewalk's on the other side. Exactly what I was saying.
Hey, guess what? It doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't cost a dime. on Lansdowne, if you want to walk between 2nd and 6th, you walk on the south side in front of the Legion, in front of Frankly Coffee. And if you want to cross the street to go into the Lansdowne Mall, you cross the street and walk in. The bikes all go both directions on the north sidewalk. No bike lane, save money.
I'm sure they probably discussed this.
No, they didn't, because if we were in council, this thing would be done right now.
If you were in council, there'd be gondolas everywhere. The people get hit by cars everywhere because there's no overpasses.
Well, they kind of do that with watering, right? Even days and odd days.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea.
The bike path.
I mean, if you look, you don't need those 2 sidewalks there. It's not a very pedestrian-heavy place. There it isn't. Downtown it is, but there's not a lot of people walking in front of that thing.
And I agree with Marty. That should connect to something. It should connect to Peterson Creek, and it should connect to the Rivers Trail.
I know where we have to connect the gondola to.
Macar Ranch?
Macar Ranch.
Macar Ranch, that'd be good, yes.
A gondola from Lee's Music
to Macar Ranch.
And why would we want to go out there to Macar Ranch, Mike? You tell me.
Because they have hormone-free and steroid-free and happy animals that they make glorious meat from.
It's the happiness. It's all about the happiness of Macar Ranch for me, right? You get happy animals, you get better food, and that's not just some kind of hokey idea, it's a fact. Okay?
Yes,
and they do that well out at Macar Ranch. I've been there. I went there for Thanksgiving. I passed out, and it was so good. I passed out into the gravy because the food was so good at Macar Ranch.
Now, you went there just for Thanksgiving and enjoyed dinner with them. They don't make dinners there.
No, I was invited as a guest.
Okay,
you can't go out there
and eat
then
gravy.
don't cook meals. But you can go out there and you can buy their beef, their pork, their lamb, and you don't even have the chicken as well. You don't have to go out there.
They'll deliver.
They deliver to Kamloops.
Did you know that they have two-legged cows there?
Do they?
Yeah, and that's where they get their lean beef from.
They do. They do. That's not true, but they do have a brand new website. It's info@macarranch.ca, and it's a great family.
Isn't that their isn't that their email?
Sorry, that's their email. Yeah. Their email is info@macarranch.ca. Their website
Social
is
insurance
macarranch.ca.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we got that?
What's the website again? Spell it out.
It's macarranch.ca. Macar Ranch.
.ca. Macarranch.ca.
Yes.
Visit it today.
No hormones, no steroids, no pesticides.
Happy animals.
It's a local business too, Mike. You love that.
Yeah, they don't have two-legged cows. They have actually cows without legs, and that's where they get the ground beef from.
Oh my God, that was actually a bit better. Okay, let's talk about the end of the council meeting. You got testy there for multiple issues. And what I wanted to ask you about was Michael O'Reilly, Councillor Michael O'Reilly, essentially came at the mayor and said, it's inappropriate for you to mention this city staffer's name in relation to Ask Wellness. It potentially creates an unsafe working environment. So did you understand where Mike was coming from there?
Not 100%. I think I do, but I don't know if I agree 100% with him that it creates unsafe work environment. I think there's things going on at City Hall that we're not privy to. There's things that we've heard. Even this week, of things in the background that may lend credence to his concern that it's an unsafe work environment. There's a lot of shit happening in City Hall between people, but I think it's understandable, and I think it's fine to say you shouldn't use the people's names if they're going to private meetings, in their private lives. They're going to meetings. Yeah. The issue was that the staff member had attended an annual general meeting of the Ask Wellness Society, and the staff member who attended the meeting, that's his job at the city, is working with these agencies. The mayor brought up the person's name because he was asking a question. If I'm in conflict with these social agencies because of my past dealings with them, isn't this staff member, and he mentioned the name, in conflict because he attended an AGM and the mayor thought that staff member was a member of the Ask Wellness Society. It turns out he wasn't. He was just there at the AGM. Anyone can go. And he was there probably because he's doing his due diligence. His job is to deal with these people. So Mike O'Reilly, one of the councillors, took issue with the mayor naming the staff member publicly and said that it's offside and that it could create, or does create, or could create unsafe work environments. I wasn't sure what he was getting at there, but maybe it's because he felt the mayor was naming this staff member because he has a beef with him, a previous beef with him, and he's just trying to sort of not out him, but sort of highlight the fact that this guy might have a conflict, and it's just unsafe. You got to go back. What does he mean? What's the definition of unsafe? What do you mean unsafe? Is it unsafe that you feel threatened verbally, physically? Do you feel that your job's at stake?
Well, Mike watches the show. Maybe he'll want to come on and clarify.
I get what he's saying for sure about it's probably not a cool thing to do, and it maybe shouldn't have been done. But as to what he means by unsafe, that's something we have to ask him about.
The other point that was brought up, or that I want to bring up, was at the end of the meeting there was some back and forth. Katie Neustaeter was involved, and some city staffers just basically asking the mayor, and you could tell that this is a repeated thing that they're becoming a little bit upset about, was him giving them a heads up about what he's going to be talking about. He asked for an update on a motion that was from a year ago, the Victoria 48 West Street.
The storage facility for the homeless people. Yeah, he had a motion 13 months ago in November of 22 asking, and the council approved the motion in a larger way, but asking for a review of the storage facility and possible relocation to a better place, or what he thinks is a better place.
So should he be giving more of an update so they can come forth and have information for him?
It can't hurt at all, can it? It can't hurt at all. And this is like you say, this has happened a lot where the mayor will just bring something up and the other council had no idea to bring it up. And their argument is, well, if you would tell us at the morning, they have these morning pre-meetings, or tell us in the days before, send us an email saying, I'm going to bring this up, can you get some information? Their argument is, rather than spring it on us, why not tell us you're going to be asking about this so we'll have the information for you so the public can get all the answers at the meeting. And Dale Bass and Katie Neustaeter was one who took issue with that, and they had a little verbal back and forth on that.
Yeah.
So
Dale just yelled at the mayor to tell him to stop cutting people off.
Yeah.
Stop cutting people off!
I don't think I think in this case, the council, yeah, I agree with them. What's the harm? Why not reach out and say, hey, I'm going to bring up this issue. I remember that motion a year ago. Can I get some information? I'm going to ask about it.
Well, and I believe Dale Bass, who you'll hear from in a moment, is saying that she thinks that he did that on purpose as kind of a gotcha moment to say, well, hey, how come you haven't been doing this? So that's why he didn't bring it up beforehand. But we'll let Dale explain that more. Mike, we had to get away from it all. It was too much for us. Last week was a busy week for us, and we had to get away from it all. And we, as the three of us, we went away, didn't we, for the weekend?
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't quite the weekend. It was actually the Monday. But I had just gotten back from my trip to Prince Albert, where I went to go see Tim Schultz. I wanted to see Tim Schultz.
St. Albert.
Yeah. Prince Albert. Prince Albert's something different.
Much different, as you know.
I've been there. Well, not in that way, but
yeah. So so we got together. But what I had with me, which was really exciting, was a 1983 vintage staccato set of drums, if you remember that, which are the flared drums that were made here in Kamloops and played on by guys like John Bonham. And I got you on the drums for the first time, didn't I, Marty?
You did, but that's a big set of drums. It's a huge set of drums. So how did we end up getting that packed in with us?
That's where we got.
Well, we had to go to Volkswagen. Yep. And luckily, they had available.
they had available, yes, they did. But again, we get onto the lot, and we got to make time. We got to get to St. Albert. But Folds Waltz is in there, and Terry Lowe greets him, right? And he says, 4.99% on the new SUVWs.
I couldn't understand.
And he couldn't.
No, I didn't understand.
Just shell shocked.
It's not LOWE, low, Terry Lowe. It's
he can't understand the rates. It's low. They're too low.
No,
shockingly low rates, and it just him so confused. So he starts banging. He just in a tizzy starts banging on the drums.
Yeah, sounded really good.
And they could hear it all the way down the Valley View frontage at McDonald's.
Because they're loud drums. Yeah.
And you love McDonald's.
Love McDonald's. Cranberry orange muffins are my favorite, but they now have the new flavored lattes, which as soon as this show's over, I'm going to go get one. I see you guys have them, but you never brought me one.
No, I didn't bring you a muffin today either. What else did we do, though? you guys, you're forgetting about the rest of the trip.
Well, not really. So we're playing, and somebody got so sweaty playing the drums and stinky.
Yeah. Before going to St. Albert, we had to make a detour to the North Shore.
We had to go to Gourds Appliance and Mattress Center. Mm-hmm. And here's the great thing about Gourds. I mean, there's so many great things.
Yep.
They deliver, and they service what they sell, and they'll install. We know this already. Mm-hmm. At least you're too confused to remember, but they do. And another thing is, the Black Friday sale, it ends today, so that's sad. But guess what starts tomorrow? It's the holiday sale.
The holiday sale. Oh, good. What's the holiday sale?
Well, it's just the prices you wouldn't believe. So you can go and you're going to have a turkey, I'm sure. Catherine's going to cook it. You won't do a thing. But Catherine's going to probably need a new oven. Go to Gourds.
Well, you know what else I learned while we were there, because Stinky was playing the drums and he was all sweaty. Something that he likes to do is the sniff test, which we all knew was going on.
Something to do with Prince Albert as well.
But you just throw it in the dryer light for his shirt for a little bit. It came out smelling like roses, literally.
And Folds, you won't do the dishes either. We know that when Catherine cooks, but luckily you'll have a new dishwasher from Gourds, and the prices are always amazing. No matter if you buy 2 and save 3 honey or 2 honey, they're always good prices there.
Yeah.
Now, we have lots of room for sponsors, and one of our original sponsors was Vinny at Cold Control Mechanical. And right now...
And Dustin.
I'm looking at it's 10:34. I have an appointment with them at 10:30 because they're putting in a new furnace in the streaming room right now. So Vinny, because we do like to support all our sponsors that we've had. I think he should sign on again.
I think Vinny and Dustin should be signing on for our new media segment that starts next week. I mean, it's going to be well viewed, and it's going to be heat. It's going to be a hot
topic.
Hot topic stuff.
Topics right now.
And
That's right.
cold, some cold takes probably from you and hot topics. So it's perfect for the Cold Control Mechanical.
I think all they have to do now is pay, so it's all great.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Above the Folds. It's brought to you by McDonald's.
Hi, my name is Harsimran.
Harsimran, what do you do here at McDonald's?
I'm a first assistant manager at McDonald's.
And how long have you been working here for?
I recently completed my 5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you like about your job?
The fact that I'm able to help people every day is the best thing, and also be able to have fun along with my coworkers. And then if you talk about how it has helped me outside work, I would say financially, of course, because now I've moved up. I started as a crew, and I've moved up all the way up to a first assistant. So now it has definitely paying me more money, and in this way I'm able to help my parents, which are back home, sometimes buy them good things, or even buy myself good things. And like, I'm totally financially independent living by myself.
So you say you've worked up the ladder already. Do you want to keep going, and what are your goals here?
Of course. So I started as a crew. I became a crew trainer. I became a shadow. I became a team leader. Then I became a second assistant, and I got promoted to a first assistant like 4 months ago. So of course the next step would be a GM.
Next step would be a GM.
Yes, fingers crossed. And then whatever the future brings, but I'm definitely eager to grow and learn.
Okay, I think you're going to do it. I think you got it. GM. The next GM right here.
Yes.
Councillor
He's
Dale
loved.
Bass. You want to talk about Takeout Tuesday at Senior Froggies or the City Council meeting yesterday?
Well, Takeout Tuesdays, I didn't get my orders correct, but that's okay.
Oh, but you love Takeout Tuesday?
I love, and my family loves Senior Froggies.
Senior Froggy's fantastic.
It
really is.
It's a really minor thing because my husband likes a super burrito, but he likes a side of beans. And I never get the side of beans when I order them. But that's okay, I don't care.
I think
Here's what I think about Senior Froggies. Not that they're not a sponsor, but this is what shows you it's a genuine appreciation. Is that a few years ago in the paper we did a story, the owner during the wildfires and during all
that's
that,
right.
he gave his whole staff off a week off with pay
Yeah.
just to get some mental health stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's underrated.
That,
Talk
It's
was
underrated.
good.
Yeah. But we can talk about taxes too.
Okay, well
We
actually,
can talk about anything you want.
let's talk about the tentative property tax hike, 10.8%,
Yep.
and the water rates, 18% potentially next year, and 65% over 5 years.
Potentially.
That
is
was passed.
happening. Okay.
Yeah.
What can council do to help us there reduce these rates?
Nothing. This is the reality now. The utility rate is the result of past councils never raising the utility rates at all, keeping them at 0.0000.
There's 1%.
There was 1%, you're right. And it is also a result of past councils not dealing with the Noble Creek situation, which we now have to fix. Thank you, Mother Nature, for making it impossible to fix. So that's why that utility rate is what it is. Taxes, once again, past councils like to... You know what, sometimes I don't think politicians should have a say on tax rates because they become politicians. Oh God, we're going to go over 2%. People will hate us, they won't vote for us. This budget is a bare bones budget to maintain the current services at the levels that they're at. That's the reality. Much of it is cops, which we don't bargain. We're just told by the federal government, here's the contract, here's what you're paying them, have fun. 60% of it is the cops. The next part of it is firefighters. Yes, we do bargain with firefighters, but they have they all kind of bargain together, and so whatever one, we get stuck with whatever everybody gets stuck with.
They get the
there.
average of 10
Yeah,
in
we
Lower
get
Mainland.
stuck with it.
Yeah, which is kind
fundamentally
of
about 3% of that is the city, which is keeping the water running, keeping the buses going.
Putting overpass over true.
I don't want to talk about that because I don't.
No, there are things in there that are
but-
wasted money. That's one, and that's a fact.
That
And
is a waste of money to you.
It's a waste of money to most people I talk to, anyone with the right mind. But the point is, are there things in there? In all seriousness, are there things in there? I know you said perhaps in jest there's nothing we can do.
No.
But there has to be things that you can say. Here's the key of what you just said. It's based on service levels as they exist, but has there been any talk within City Council or at the budget meetings of people saying, well, maybe we should reduce, or we don't need this, or
What do you want to reduce? Do you want fewer buses?
No, I'm asking, has there been
Yes,
any...
that conversation has been had. They start at a zero base, and they look at everything.
Yeah.
And where can we make the biggest impact? Well, we'd have to do away with about 10 cops. Well, we can't do that because of safety and security. Well, we could reduce the bus schedule. Well, we can't do that because people need transportation, and we believe in active transportation. You know, well, maybe we shouldn't have opened that new fire hall in Westside and staffed it properly. Well, you know, that saved a house. That's our problem. There have been too many councils that were debating the tax rate with an eye to, oh, will I get reelected? The biggest mistake last term made, and I argued against it, was that 0.2% during COVID. Because it set an unrealistic belief that we can do that, and we can't.
So the average tax hike this century has been 2.4, 2.5%. We're going, this year was 7%, the highest ever. Next year will probably be higher. The fear I hear among some people and myself is that it's 10.8 tentative now. It usually goes down a few percentage points when you guys whittle, but let's say it goes down to 8 or 9 or 7. The fear is the council will say, look at this, we cut it down to 8 or 9, and we'll think 8 or 9 is normal, and then next year they'll say, oh, it's going to be 10, and then we'll go to 7, and by the time we know it, when we're used to 2.5, we're going to be saying, wow, 7's great.
Well, you know what I tell people? I said, if you don't like this tax rate, move to Soyuz. Because that's a classic example of what has been wrong. They kept it down to 0.0000000, and now their infrastructures are failing. And they've got to go to 38%. You look at other communities, they're at 17, 12, 10. I'm not
staffing at City Hall isn't a little top heavy. You don't think it's good?
I don't. No, I don't.
It's okay to add an assistant CEO for more salary and hire someone else there in the senior. It's needed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You see, because the average person is looking at everything from their own perspective, and I did the same thing too as a reporter. I looked at it from, well, geez, it's costing me a lot more things. A fire truck costs us $1 million.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that. I don't even remember the name of the movie, but Judd Hirsch says to somebody, "You really think a hammer costs $4,200?"
Yeah.
Things cost a lot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of costing a lot, the proposed bike lane on Lansdowne that was shot down yesterday by council, including by some councillors, I think yourself included, that voted in favor of the 6th Avenue one, but you voted against the Lansdowne one. I'm assuming it's because the Lansdowne one was a different beast. It was narrower. There were safety concerns. Just looking at that cost, Nancy Beppel yesterday, who's a huge cycling advocate, and she has some really great ideas, but she said, she argued in favor of approving the bike lane, so it continues to Riverside Park. It goes from 2nd Avenue to 6th Avenue. It's 660 meters long. It was estimated at $2.75 million, which I did a quick calculation yesterday. That's like $1,400 a foot.
I know.
And yet she said it was cost effective. If we don't do it now, it costs more later.
Well, it will.
Can anybody at staff put out a report showing why the hell it would cost $1,400 a foot to put a bike lane in there?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I'd love to see it, because why can't you just use the bloody sidewalk that no one uses on the north side? That just blew my mind yesterday. Now maybe it can be rationalized. Maybe they can show it to me. But $1,400 a foot, and that's cost effective these days.
Isn't there
We're all in trouble.
some responsibility on the past council though for voting one part through and not another?
Well, actually, from my perspective, because I did vote in favor of the 6th Avenue because I thought it was a good idea. And that's why I asked yesterday, knowing what the answer would be, have you actually looked at how many people use it? Because we were told it'll be used. I'm told it is being used.
The 6th Avenue one.
The 6th Avenue. My friend Mark Archibald says it's being used, and she actually did a count one day. She stood there at the corner of 6th and Columbia and counted how many bikers came down, and it was being used. That's a totally different road and roadway than Lansdowne.
Yeah.
You don't have logging trucks going down 6th.
Oh, it's much wider too.
But why wasn't the whole thing dealt with,
planned at once?
That would be a staff question, because staff makes these decisions, then they bring them to us.
No, I think it was. If you see the map that was put up, Randy put up yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it shows from Aberdeen, where I used to live, all the way down past your place, down through that great Hucktum Trail, going through Peterson, right, going down, and then 6th Avenue used to be a dot there saying to come. Lansdowne was to come, and then through the park, and then there's different colors: completed, to come, and planned. So that was planned. It's just, I guess, the details kind of They got skittish.
Well, and at one point they were talking about taking down St. Paul and then down 2nd to connect. And that, we got a lot of email from people who knew about that and said that makes more sense. Because we don't have logging trucks going down St. Paul.
So this is going to come back, but when?
I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, literally, there's
That's
so
your slogan
much.
for next election.
No, I don't care.
No,
Dale
because
Bass.
literally, there's so many things going on right now.
I know.
Staff can deal with that, and if they want to come back with another idea, that's great. But right now, we have other issues to deal with. We've got like Bill 45 to deal with. We've got Noble Creek to deal with. So staff can go away. Purvest can go away. Plot it out. Maybe come up with St. Paul. I don't care. If he wants to bring it back, and he probably should bring something back.
But he said it could be a few more years.
Well, maybe it will be. Chris, you know this happens. Everything takes forever in government. Yeah. Municipal government is slow, provincial government is slower, and federal government, oh my God, it never happens.
End of the meeting got a little bit testy, and part of that was Bill 45. I want to ask you about Bill 45. I mean, what are your thoughts in general, and also in relation to how it was brought up in the meeting yesterday? Anything?
Well, I'm glad that Councillor Hall. So weird when I say that.
Councillor Hall, Kelly. Councillor.
I'm glad that Kelly brought
Your
it up.
former boss.
My former boss.
Explain to it, just in a nutshell, what is Bill 45?
It's giving the provincial government, it's taking away the municipality's ability to do away, or to move off to disband homeless encampments. Which we need. And it's saying you can't do that unless you can show that you've got housing for them. And that court decision was made quite a while ago. But we don't build housing. BC Housing in the province builds housing. And we have been advocating for as long as I've been on council, we've been advocating practically every day for more housing. But so has every municipality in the province. So that's what Bill 45 is about. And it's wrong. It's taking away an ability of the municipal government, and it's requiring us to do something we legally can't do, and we need them to help us do. And then if you want to take it one step further, when we build all this housing, who's going to pay for the infrastructure? Because it wasn't budgeted. And that'll raise taxes as well. So yeah, I'm glad Councillor Hall raised it. I was surprised the mayor knew nothing about it. But I'm glad that my colleagues agreed to send a letter to the government, as many other municipalities are doing, saying this is not good for us. Don't do this. Because this is not good for us. Don't do this.
Do you think the mayor should have been more aware?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Our executive assistant even knows what Bill 45 is. I don't know why he didn't know what it is.
I also wanted to ask you, I believe it was Councillor O'Reilly who took issue with the mayor using a staffer's name in relation to what I get to ask wellness, and he said it was essentially on making it an unsafe working environment. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. But I don't think I should talk about it, to be honest, other than to say that I agreed with Councillor O'Reilly. I don't think staff should be treated that way. Well, I called out one of the public inquiry people who compared a report. He said, as a teacher, I know I have students that could write a report better than this one.
Matt Gordon.
Yeah, I didn't.
Former teacher.
I wasn't going to say that.
He ran against you on council.
I don't want to talk about that.
I'm just saying, that's on the public record.
Well, I wasn't going to say it because I don't think we should name names. But nevertheless, I did call him out on that. I said, we have a civil discourse. You have to show respect. The mayor loves to say when he reads out the civil discourse, of course that matters to us too, or applies to us too. Well, he should show some civility and not name an employee and bring up something that from his private life that in fact was not correct.
It was incorrect.
Why don't we talk about garbage?
Garbage?
Talk about garbage. Some concerns in the city about, I think it's between 17 and 19 days where there won't be a pickup.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change, right?
No, it's not.
Any thoughts there? What have you been hearing from residents, and what are your thoughts on it?
Residents are really upset about it. And I understand that because my husband's upset about it, okay? Yeah, it's a long time to go. But every Christmas we have a long time. Apparently it's an average of 14 days every Christmas that you go without any pickups.
Okay.
What we talked about was that this staff said, well, 17 to 19, that's just a few more days. And yeah, sure, okay. But what we talked about, because it was obvious we're not going to be able to change it, is could we look at it for next year to fix it? There's got to be a better way. And the organics is new. And there are going to be issues with how we do it. So we need a bit more time. And so for this year, I guess we're going to just have to suck it up and keep our garbage. And next year, maybe we can figure out a better way.
Allison Levitt is going to be pissed.
Oh, she's going to
Our
be
loyal
upset.
viewer. She's on Instagram all the time. This has got to change. Sorry, Allison, you're going to have to tough it out this year.
And she and others are saying that's an example of reduced service for the same price.
Yes.
So because you're getting your garbage and recycling exactly half as much as you did before, but you're paying the same amount. Although we had Glenn Farrell explaining it
Yes.
on here, whether you agree with him or not, he explained the
They
rationale
explained
behind it.
And that's the thing. And sometimes councillors, many times councillors have to make decisions somebody's not going to like. We can't keep everybody happy.
One more on the testiness at the end of the meeting. It was the mayor asked for an update on a motion I believe he made last year.
Oh yeah,
but he hadn't, I guess, let people know this was going to be happening. I think Katie Neustaeter said it would be nice if we could have a heads up. I think it was another city staffer who kind of said the same thing.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
It would have been nice for heads up. I felt it was a gotcha moment by the mayor. But
What do you mean?
well, I believe that he asked that question simply to embarrass another staff member.
Oh.
And then this is relating to the 48 Victoria Street
Yeah.
West. It's the city-owned place that has storage facilities for the homeless.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the mayor last year, 13 months ago,
Yeah.
had asked, and it went to a committee to review
Yeah.
the possible relocation of that place in conjunction with the Aboriginal Friendship Society, which runs
Yeah.
it. And he said, I just want to know what's the update.
And the interesting thing here, because like the day lodge was an idea from Kathy Sadie and I, we viewed the day lodge and the building as one
And
thing.
He was saying two different things.
And he's breaking them in half.
Yeah.
Now I don't understand why you would have a day lodge where people can hang out and not have where their things are next to it, or not have where the washroom is next to it.
Yeah.
I think that his view of that thing.
There's $1 million
is-
going by right here.
Yeah. And aren't you glad?
Well, yeah, but
you better
it's-
hope they're not going to your house.
Well, they're not. 99% of the time they're going to medical calls right now. So
I
we should
know,
get ambulances and save some money.
I know.
Right? There you go.
I know. But anyhow, I view that the day lodge and the warehouse, we'll call it a warehouse, the building
As
as
one
one thing because you've got people here, they're getting fed, they're getting some outreach stuff, and maybe they want to go to the bathroom, they want to use the laundry,
They got
so they
lockers
can
in
just
there,
walk across rather than going over to the North Shore.
Okay.
So that's how I view it.
So why don't we hold your feet to the fire a little bit here? Ask you a question about the TNRD board.
Yeah?
Because I think there was just a vote to give yourself raises.
Yeah?
Is this a good time for it? Is it a good time for it?
When
with
is a good time for it?
You tell me.
That was the report that came back. Many of my colleagues on the TNRD board are not well paid.
Yeah.
And I voted for it because many of them deserve to be paid more.
Yes.
Yeah. I took, I get paid okay.
You get paid $17,000 with the 8% hike, right? Which is I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But
But
the other ones, the rural ones, they're now getting $30,000 a year, which
But-
is not much less than the reporters were getting back in the day.
Yeah,
It's
you
true,
know,
and it's a
I know,
part-time
I
gig.
know.
So I know
No,
Barbara
it's not, you know,
Barbara
but
Roden saying, "Oh, we
it's-
can't." It is a part-time gig. Officially, it is.
Officially, it is a part-time gig,
Yeah.
but if you want to do your job correctly, it's not a part-time gig. Officially, counselors is a part-time
It
gig.
is.
I don't put in 40 hours a week. I sometimes put in 50 hours a week. There are some weeks where I put in 25.
And other counselors might put in fewer.
And you have to also remember that many of the people in the TNRD from the EAs, the electoral areas, they don't get paid anything else, and they have day jobs. And when they go away from their day job, they may not be getting paid. And I look at some of the mayors who don't get a lot of money either, because mayor is viewed as a part-time job for them too.
Sure. Well,
So I think that, like if this is a way of ensuring that my colleagues who are not paid well for the work that they do and for the work they have done in the past, if this is what we have to do, then that's what we do.
How much are you looking forward to the next 3 years?
I am actually enjoying this term immensely.
Okay.
I work with 7 other counselors, and even when we disagree, it's collegial and it's friendly. We have accomplished a lot. We've approved more than 1,000 housing units
Let's
this
talk
year.
about what you've accomplished then.
What I've accomplished?
No, the council as a whole. I'm
We've
giving you a chance to talk about
approved
it.
more housing units in the first year of our term than any other council. More than 1,000.
Cool.
Whether they get built or not is another matter. We have restructured the committee systems committees to reflect our strategic plan.
Yep.
So we are actually able to now, and because they're not standing committees, which can tend to be overloaded with reports and bureaucracy, we're getting things done. I voted against Katie's motion on the parks at one time, and then because it's going to IHA, I voted in favor of it. That's something we got done.
That's the
drugs in
use.
the parks.
Public, yeah.
You know, there's lots of things, little things. Some councillors are working with daycares to partner with RIH Foundation and also with the city to increase the number of daycare centers that we're doing. And we have
Centers, sobering center. What's the latest there?
It's going to the province.
Okay.
Yep.
It's taking forever.
I think we talked
me
about it
about
last
it.
time you were here.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it was taking forever.
We talked
Yeah.
about this 5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were.
We
Yeah.
were. I know.
Not on the show, but it's
No,
No,
yeah.
no, we finally got it through. It's a much better business case because things have changed from 2016 to 2023.
Yeah.
And 2016 was when the original case was done. And we have a potential partner to build it, or who would house it, who's willing to do it. And that's important because a lot of the nonprofits don't have the capacity and to take on much more. And Day One Society, I talked to Sean Lewis, the ED, yesterday. She says, yeah, we have some staffing problems like everybody else does, but we want to do this and we have the expertise to do this. And if in the sobering center we get somebody in and they're ready to go into detox, all they have to do is move next door.
Yeah, right across the
Yeah.
And that's formerly known as the Phoenix Center.
Yeah.
If
Right.
people don't know, it's a
Yeah,
very, very
and
well-known place.
from my perspective, getting that going to the province now is a big accomplishment.
Mike, I'm going to surprise you. Do you have anything for Dale? Any questions?
I'm the dog with the bone about local procurement, and we had David Hallinan on the show last week.
Okay.
Alan.
Hallinan.
Yeah.
It's okay, nobody gets his name right.
We call him O'Callahan.
Anyways, together we decided that what the problem is that the Northwest Trade Agreement, WTA, has a bias against local
Yes, it
by
does.
saying you have to be open to other
Anything.
communities.
Yes.
So him and I have decided to band together, and we're going to actually lobby the Northwest Trade Agreement to get those levels raised. Are you on board with that?
Oh yeah, last term I was going to raise this issue. I thought we should give preference to local,
Absolutely.
but that's when I was told you can't do that legally.
Yeah.
No, because I think that's what
But
that's
at the
one way to
basis
grow
of
our economy.
community, that's what a community is
Yes.
supporting each other.
Oh, yeah.
And when you don't do that, it creates problems in our community.
Well, sure it does.
Yep.
It's a way of growing our economy, respecting our business and in industry in the city. Yeah, I would have brought this up last term, but I couldn't.
Great, so you're in.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Okay. our
Who else have
team's
you got
growing.
on board, Mike?
Not necessarily on sound and music and stuff like that.
Actually, it's not about my company so much as every other company
I
that
know.
I've been talking
I
to,
know.
because it's a.
So are you going to talk to other businesses?
I have.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I have. The Canadian Home Builders Association is livid about it. So, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but
Rose
they're-
Joy. I just saw her at Pilates the other day.
Rose, oh, she's great.
Absolutely.
You do Pilates?
I went for the first time.
Pilates king now.
Now I
She
understand.
was there. She said you'll get addicted. It's so
I went
good.
to Zumba.
We get business out of province and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff too. But I'd rather do it all locally here.
Oh, sure.
Like why would I want to travel 12 hours
Oh,
to
sure.
do something that somebody else is traveling 12 hours to do here?
I know.
Carbon footprint.
Carbon footprint. Yeah,
Exactly.
there you
There's
go.
so many aspects to this. I'm glad you're doing this, Mike.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But you see, there again, it's just a matter of knowing what's going on.
yeah.
And you didn't know this, and that's the problem with a lot of the feedback we get on taxes, for example. People don't know the reality until you find out.
Until you start losing services in your community.
Well, yeah. What do you
Yeah.
want? Water every third day?
Yeah.
Well, we could have water every day. We get rid of that overpass.
Just this
fantastic.
overpass.
And also, we're looking for
You don't care about the safety of the
support on
students.
the gondola idea from the North
Oh
Shore
yeah,
to
did you hear
Ontario.
about this?
Well, the gondola is a better idea to come up
First
from.
of all, it's not a gondola.
It's a gondola
You-
from
gondola.
Mac
He
Island.
hasn't changed, has he?
No.
I'm just
They're
saying.
never going to ask
Do
me
you-
questions
You
again.
know, let me talk to you about the overpass, though. In one way, we do
Yes.
need an overpass there to reduce the pedestrian crossing at that location, at that crossing.
He'll
we
argue
need to do
against that
something
big
to get
time.
the people
He says it's
over there.
laziness.
Well, you're saying just never mind the safety. You're talking about the,
I'm talking
all
the
all kids
congestion.
going? Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Well, I-
the congestion can be horrific there. I'll tell you, I think
I would argue that
that in your pipe.
99.9% of the congestion is True students, and True isn't hurting for money. Have them pay for the damn thing so we can have water.
You
every
know,
day.
Chris, I know I'm taking too much of your time, but when it was announced that they bought that property,
Yeah, yeah.
I was still a reporter. I'm standing between Matt Milovic and Peter Millibar, and Peter says to Matt, "Oh, you guys are going to have to pay for it. You own both sides."
They own both sides of the
I
highway.
know. I know.
So
I know.
So you're on the record then.
Well,
True should pay for it. Says Dale Bass.
But
no?
well, I think they should be. Yes.
There you go. It's on the record. True
But
should pay
my
for it. Says Dale Bass.
My colleagues did not agree.
Yeah.
And I want the damn overpass bill. Oops, I swore. I want the overpass bill.
Oh, I disagree there. I think it's a waste of money.
What do you want?
Colossal
One
waste of money.
up in your neck of the woods?
I want a gondola from
The Bachelor,
Mac Island.
The Bachelor
No, from Mac Island to True, and you could even stop along the way and have those as bus stops, as someone had replied to me on. It's not my idea.
That's
Someone else's idea on
absolutely
Twitter.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, go to Pittsburgh. Go to
Because Kamloops and Pittsburgh
Go to
are
LA.
level pegging.
They're building one to SFU.
Again, that's Vancouver. Look at the pop. This is not.
What?
It doesn't make any sense, Folds.
Doesn't
It's going to be barely used. It's going to be you in there reading a book. That's it.
Oh yeah,
millions of dollars spent on you with your coffee.
And you're
reading
going
a book.
to put in that overpass, and you're going to see the kids are still going to walk underneath it, just like
You
that
don't
bike
care
lane
about the
to
safety
nowhere
of the
going to
kids.
Valley
You never-
View. There's
you never
nothing
cared
going to
about
be
the
there.
safety of the kids.
First of all, they're adults, and if the safety of the kids are so paramount, then True should pay for it and get out of my
It's just
pockets.
your
That's what
ageism
I'm
again,
saying.
too. All these young people,
Ageism.
everything that didn't happen in 1980 or before.
Oh,
after.
80s was the best. Hey, the best
Reason number
decade.
45 why I left the newspaper.
The best decade. 1986, Blue Velvet, best movie of all time. There you go.
Okay, Dale. Final thoughts.
Good God. No, everything's
What's
good.
your favorite movie of
My
all time?
favorite movie of all time, Apocalypse Now.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Good
Yes.
pick. Yes.
Yes, I could watch that every day.
Spinal Tap. All the way. And they're coming out with Spinal Tap 2. And
Good
I
movie.
actually put a
Ooh.
pitch
You know-
in to build a guitar for Spinal Tap 2.
Of course you did.
Yes, yep.
Good God. Yeah.
Okay, Dale. Thank you.
No,
Thanks,
that
Dale.
was fun. Thanks.
Don't want the 9-hour cycle, please. Friggin' $500 hydro bill piece of trash. I need to speak to Gord on the 9er.
Hey, no, I'm actually Steve, the new owner.
First things first, pal. You should probably update your sign. Number 2, my dishwasher is tangled again. The 9-hour cycle, hydro bill through the roof. You guys don't fix appliances, I know that, so I need a new one.
We actually do fix appliances, but if you want, I can try some new ones first and have a look. You got a price in mind?
Money is not an obstacle for me.
Money's definitely an obstacle. He's the cheapest guy in Kamloops. Ain't that right, Darby?
Well, this here is going to be your Cadillac model, top of the line. This is our middle of the road dishwasher, just a great dishwasher at a great price. This is our budget friendly model, still a great dishwasher, just at a bit of a lower price.
Price doesn't work for me. Let's see if you can fix mine at home.
Alrighty then. There you go, seems to be good. How's the fridge working?
The fridge is fine, Gord.
It's Steve.
But we'll see where it goes. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
What do you got there? It's better. Hey?
That's good. Kamloops Mayor Reid Hamer-Jackson, Reader's Digest. Reid, how you doing?
Good, how are you? How you guys doing?
Good. Doing well.
How's the boys back there?
Oh, we're excellent, eh, Bill? Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Thoughts in general on council yesterday. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me? There's quite a bit. Well, we
It was
had
an interesting meeting.
we had some public inquiries that were asking some pretty in-depth questions. I don't think anybody would know the answers to a lot of the questions.
Yeah.
So.
Which part are you referring to?
Oh well, so one of the guys gets up and asks, "Is drywall recyclable?"
Oh.
Like I
And
said,
then how many trips per day goes to Princeton, and what's the cost of the trips to Princeton?
yeah, and how much is this per day?
Yeah.
I think you got to be fair to.
Well, as David Trowen
staff.
said, he said, those are rhetorical questions. You know the answers. You're just trying to bait us. So, get to the point, guy, because it's a very long
Well, some
system,
people,
yeah.
well, not to jump right into it, but some people came after you a little bit for that same type of thing, saying, well, give us more of a heads up when you're asking about your motion from last year, I think.
48 Victoria Street
48
West.
Victoria.
Remember, Katie Neustaeter said, we'd like to help you, but we didn't know you were going to ask this question. You should talk to us beforehand, and then we can get prepared for it.
Prepared. It was a year ago.
No, I know, but they didn't know you were going to ask the question yesterday, so.
But it should be. It went to a committee, which
Yeah.
was at the time a standing committee.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I put a motion forward to just do 48 West.
Yeah.
Where it got extended.
Yeah.
But that was a year ago. It was, a matter of fact,
13
it was
months ago.
over a year ago, yeah.
November.
So it went to a standing committee, and then they started select committees, and so it was supposed to go to that committee. So I thought it would be a kind of a simple question, and I met the day before with with the Friendship Center, and definitely willing to look at something. They know it's not a great spot. It's, you know, like there's thousands of cars that by there a day. There's people laying out all over the sidewalk. It's too small.
If the storage facility for the homeless and the services there were to move somewhere that is better for everybody, I'm assuming that your idea the gathering place next to it would also move with it because they work in tandem, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even think we really need a gathering spot myself. I mean, every one of these facilities that we've ever built have gathering areas. They have day lounges, day lodges.
No, but the storage facility place
would
need something like that, right?
Does it?
Why? I'm asking, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it really does. I think that
other places
a lot of the people, the people that are hanging out there, they live at all the different facilities, all the shelters and the supportive housing units and stuff that we. And the other thing too, we're looking for ways to reduce taxes. So I look every little spot, and I mean, we're renting parking spots for our city staff at BCLC. If you drive by there today, that whole parking lot's empty right there right now. So
the back.
No, the whole
on
48
Seymour?
West.
Oh no.
Yeah, on BCLC's property. Yeah.
Where's the parking lots being rented? Parking spots
at the BCLC.
Off of Seymour?
Yeah.
You're talking the old Mohawk. The old Mohawk location?
No, the BCLC.
In the actual parkade of BCLC?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I don't know how many spots we've got.
You're saying the city is paying BCLC for employee parking up there?
Yeah.
How much?
I don't know.
How many spots?
I don't know.
Oh. Well, how do you know this?
I'm the mayor.
Yeah, but if you know this, how come you don't know the details?
Is drywall recyclable?
Yes, it is, actually.
All of it?
No, just like 90% of it.
Okay. Do you actually know that?
Yes. But here's the thing, though.
How much did you pay for printing last year?
Printing?
Yeah.
The paper?
At KTW?
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. It's
Rain Man.
it's 8 times 52, whatever that is. That's what we paid.
So
8 times 5, $416,000.
Okay, so how much can you cut that down just by getting subscriptions and printing 2 subscribers?
No, you can't. No, it's different.
7-Elevens and everywhere else.
Well, that's a different thing because then you affect
answer.
ad rates and all that. No, my point.
How many spots there is?
No, but
what I do know is that we have a piece of property
I'm
in Trust
intrigued by
City
that.
Hall.
I'm intrigued by that. Every other person who works downtown has to pay for parking. Don't city employees pay for parking?
I don't know that question.
It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Maybe some reporter out there.
I don't think you're not ripping into him. You're.
No, I'm asking. I'm
right.
intrigued by that question. I didn't know that the city of Kamloops taxpayers are paying BCLC for spots so that some employees can park there. That's true. That should be looked at.
Are you still gambling with BCLC, or are you using a different book now?
PlayNow.com. I gamble there because the money goes back into the healthcare and everything.
What do you think that part of the reason I put that motion forward last year was? And again, it was modeled off of East Hastings, the First United Church. When you asked that same question, they shut that down over 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Where did they put the gathering spot there? They didn't. Well, it's all over East Hastings.
It's all over there, yeah.
But again, there's day spaces.
Okay.
Again, I can't.
No, it's fair. I just want to know because when we had Councillor Dale Bass on the show before you, that this topic came up because it was a pretty contentious discussion at City Council yesterday, and she had mentioned that you were talking only, and you said I'm not talking only about the storage facility, not about the gathering place. It was her opinion and others that the two are a tandem. They go hand in hand.
Well, they're not because the storage was there since 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean back when Councillor Bass and the previous council put motion forward for the day spaces, there was supposed to be one on the North Shore and one on the South Shore. They hadn't had a spot picked originally, so to think that they go hand in hand, if they're hand in hand, why again? That program ended at the end of October. So again, why don't we look at doing something different? They did on East Hastings at the First United Church. Yeah. Why don't we? And again, it's a bad spot for the people. I mean, I talk to the people on the streets. Okay, it's not a great spot. I mean, it's
the people using it don't like it.
Well, even the operator, it's small. It's too small for the area. And I've talked to them, and there's day spaces. Like a lot of the people that do store stuff, they'll live at the shelters, or they'll live at the Rose Thorn, or they'll live in different areas. So there's got to be room within those. So if you got 5 people could storage their stuff in behind the Rose Thorn building, or you take the parking lot of the Spear House. I mean, that parking lot's empty most of the time.
Yep.
And if we could just have spots there for them, because some of them got stuff. Like one guy there, he's got quite a bit of stuff. He was in City Hall the other the day using the bathrooms because the bathrooms weren't working across the street there, because something happened and the door wasn't working or something.
So the bottom line is, did you asked a question, do you update me because I can't remember, did you get an answer to your question as to where that motion is? What's going on with the review and possible relocation of the storage
Is that the one that
facility?
Dale called attempted gotcha moment, just when she was on our show now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I asked a question. So again, I've asked a question
Did you
in
get
front
an
of the
answer?
public. No, but I'm sure I will now.
Okay.
That's why
just
I
wanna
asked
know
the questions.
where
I don't
it
know.
is,
I don't know why everything has to be asked behind closed doors. I just really don't get this. I mean, especially when everything we do is FOIable. Aside from reports that you get that I don't get, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy when you think of it. Really.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't like an official release. That was sort of.
But it is. The investigation's over.
No, but what I'm saying is the report I got that you're talking about, I didn't get through official channels. It was,
Yeah, but what I guess what I'm saying is you did an investigation. If it's good, proper investigation,
You
the
want
mayor's
the
guilty,
investigation
You
and
bet
release,
I do.
right?
And again, why wouldn't you?
So if I was to release
Why
this,
wouldn't you?
yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to release it?
I don't know. Well, because they are arguing that there's other names in there, and they got to protect the privacy of the employees named in there.
Not me though.
And you too. They're saying you too. Yeah, everybody.
Well,
in there.
on that note,
But they brought out another person's name too.
No, well, we did that. They did.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, okay, if people are making allegations of things, I should at least know what the allegation is.
Yes.
I don't know if I pulled your ear or you know what I mean.
You grabbed my ass. You don't know what you did.
Don't even get into that.
Well, someone said that to you.
No, but did you,
Yes,
you
they said-
answer the question about the,
Yes, but she's all sick right now, so I couldn't answer that question yet. I'll ask her. I keep forgetting.
What's this?
He wants me to ask my wife a question because if someone, what's the question you want me to ask my wife?
Oh, yeah.
If someone says I violated personal boundaries, he wants me to ask my wife. What?
Well, I'm
does
going
that
to ask
mean to
both
you?
of you.
What does that
I'm
mean
going to ask
to
both of you because
you got a girl
I
now.
understand you've got a girl.
He's
now.
got a girl.
I
now.
do,
And
yes.
If you woke up in the morning and you saw an article where someone said that you violated their personal boundaries,
Yeah, we already went through this.
But what would she
Folds
say?
and I both.
Well, no. What would she think?
I have no idea what Sonia would think about that.
Well,
I'd have to ask her.
Well, I think you should ask her.
I could ask her, but what,
too.
this
Let's
goes
end
back
this.
to okay.
Let's end
Move
this.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you.
I just want an answer from.
From the ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll ask her. I'll ask her next time you're on. I'll let you know what she said. Okay. I want to ask you about a little back and forth. Speaking of names, Councillor O'Reilly took issue with you using a staff member's name in relation to Ask Wellness and said it was making potentially for an unsafe working environment. Any thoughts on that?
Well, none at all. I mean, it's all I did was ask the question. I mean, the report we're looking at has the employee's name all over it. That is presenting in front of us all the time. I mean, 30-page document of it. And when someone tells me something about somebody being a member of Ask Wellness, and I look on the website and at the AGM, and it's a member. So I'm just questioning if
he's not a member. He was at the AGM, but he's not a member.
I'm telling you what I read.
Yes, but we found out he's not a member.
Okay, so what's the big deal? Then get up, say I'm not a member. I was at the meeting. That's great, and I thought it would be great to if that's the case, to go to all the nonprofits.
Well, and I think that's what the idea was. I think he probably does go to because that's his job to work with the nonprofits, so it would make sense for him to go to the AGM.
And the other thing too, I think I would get them to correct their AGM documents because it says members. Because there's only, I'm sure a lot more people went to their meeting than just. There's only like 8. Did you look at it? There's like 8 or 9 people.
Anyone can go to these meetings.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're a member.
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean you're a member. That's what I'm saying.
They had him listed as a member. But again, what's the problem?
I think what Mike O'Reilly was saying, and we have to get him to clarify as to why he thinks that creates an unsafe work environment for employees. But he just felt it was, I think his words were offside, that you would name an employee directly at a public council meeting for doing something in his private life. I think that was.
But I don't know if that's private life. If you're a member of a nonprofit, I don't know if that's in your private life or not. And again, you're right there. Your name's all over the document. It's not like you're all over the media. I mean,
the reason you brought this up is you were asking whether that is perceived as a conflict.
Could it be? Yes.
Yeah, that's what your question was, right?
Yes, because
they were talking about your potential
great.
conflict.
I'm always a big red light goes up every time I'm into something there, and I'm supposed to be the one to determine that. And when I get and again, I've supported these agencies for many years, and we can get into it when donating to a vehicle or BC Housing using my property. So I'm wondering how, and I work with outreach workers, to try to get people into shelters and get people into supportive housing, things like that, because I know a lot of the street population. And so I just asked the question. And it's not like, we are in a public, this is City Hall, okay? This staff member presents a lot of things and makes a lot of decisions
in that
to do
area.
social housing and community development.
So why don't next time you just ask them outside of the public meeting then?
You know what? Asking things outside of a public meeting haven't boded well for me. Even with the way that I'm supposed to communicate with people, and the email goes from this to there, and then all of a sudden it becomes a online council meeting.
And you did make that point last night. You said communication has been kind of limited, right? I mean,
I think and again, it's just crazy that if all this was happening a week before the election, public inquiries would be coming at you, right, heavily, right? You got no problem with that. And again, they got timers up and all that stuff. And again, I'll go back to my first delegation. I mean,
Ask Wellness Society,
30 minutes, I had them going. Didn't seem to be a problem. And again, I know a lot of people that work at Ask Wellness. There's a lot of great people that work there, and there's a lot of good stuff going on within that organization. And so again, I'll call them when I got people that are sleeping on my property. I'll call them and try to help, and that's my goal, is to try to help get a safer community, get people right from the streets to wherever you guys live up on the hill there. Way up on the hill
in Bachelor.
Halley.
Multi-use pathway defeated last night.
Lansdowne. Yep.
You think it was the right call?
I do. I think it's, and I'm a biker, so don't get me wrong.
You're more of a mountain biker, right?
Yeah, but I ride the streets too.
Yeah, ride the streets?
Yeah.
What kind of bike do you have?
I got a Trek or what is it? No,
I see your wife sometimes posts you guys are out in the trails.
Yeah, Lori's always out in the trails doing the hardcore stuff.
Yeah, and I got a motorbike too, so we ride on the street. So you got to be real careful when you're out there. And again, I don't know. I just don't know. And like I brought up the Red Bridge, how narrow it is. And I've been in the car business, and you have no idea how many of my salesmen came back with a mirror and the glass sprayed into a door of a brand new truck because they hit mirrors. And I don't know how comfortable the semi drivers would be. The aero transport guys would having a narrower lane. And again, I asked, have we had a problem on that corridor with people getting hit by trucks? Or
well, Dale Bass brought up the stats, and they were pretty sobering. Like 63 accidents last year, and I think 46 the year before, and I'm not sure if that includes pedestrians. So there is an issue on that street for sure.
Well, a lot of traffic there.
Doesn't past council then have some kind of responsibility here? If people are calling this a bike path to nowhere, I mean, why just build one part of it and then was it short-sighted a little bit to not have a more fulsome plan in place?
Yeah, I just wasn't comfortable with the safety on all sides myself, Yeah.
Okay. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, because I didn't, you called me about this. I couldn't get to it because that very day we're having a meeting about something else. But on the November 27th, you were at the corner of Derry Road and West Side Road. And it was an issue regarding erosion and a slide of land. But the odd thing was you said some cemetery was being impacted and some graves were being moved. Tell us what's happening up there. And what do you want done?
How come you didn't show up?
Because I first of all, I don't have a newspaper to write for anymore. And second of all,
you can always bank it when you do get one going.
I had a meeting that day about that very issue, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, what happened was I got a call from a West Side resident and said, hey, can you come out here and have a look? There's been a landslide. So I go out there and, sure enough, there's 350 feet, probably 90 feet deep, gone right into the river, changed the whole flow of the river. And there's a tree that was sitting up right, I'm sure it was within the repairing area. And if you had a house there, it'd be in the drink. And there's a barn there and a place where they keep equipment. And now right where the river is flowing, it's flowing right to 3 marked graves.
Wow.
So again, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I've got a message into the federal minister Sargent, and I see he emailed last night, so I'm going to do some stuff there. But I really believe that we need to start protecting our riparian areas. You know, and again, federal, provincial, DFO, we need every First Nations, everyone involved in protecting the riparian areas. And if we'd have protected the riparian area up at the Noble Creek site, we would have saved that asset. So again, I think we need to protect those riparian areas
proactively, do it before it happens.
Exactly, and that's exactly what Minister Sargent was talking to me about in the summer. And you know, because if it was a structure like a railway or a bridge, or if that happened to somebody else, I mean, I know people that live in Brocklehurst on the river, and even myself. And if you missed one morning, you woke up and basically your house would have been in the river because you're within the riparian area. Like, and we've got to do something. And I was just out there on Sunday again, and there's even more property
being eroded,
going into the river. Yeah,
Is that the part?
and it was real risk to the lady that owns the property and one of the gentlemen that helps her. I mean, they ride their horses there, tractors and everything, just gone.
Jesus. Is that the part of the job you like the best? I mean, just getting a call from somebody and, you know, just a resident and going out and being able to.
Yeah, I've never been a sit in the office. I'm actually not fit for office, so I'm really not.
You mean like physically or like
physically? Well, it depends what media source you're listening to. If you talk to Brett, you know I'm not fit for office. But no, I'm not a sit down guy. I like to talk to people when people call. Yeah. I have a lot of people come into my office. It's basically a full time. People call me about incidents all over, whether it be a tree in a way or whatever, you know, whatever it is. I like to go out and see what's going on, and like I said, no different than I really appreciate you guys getting up with me in the morning, because there's not a lot of people that do that. Until you do that, you really realize what's happening on the streets. You don't realize that till 4 o'clock in the morning when you go and you think a guy's homeless, but he's really not homeless because he lives in a facility down the road.
Your buddy runs the Bailey's, right? Bailey's Pub. I had the best hot turkey sandwich of my life the other day there. Just wanted to tell him that. Probably the best hot turkey sandwich I've had.
Did it have brie and cranberry sauce?
I didn't like not a cranberry sauce guy.
You gotta have cranberry with
But on like a good turkey sandwich, brie and cranberry and sourdough.
Brie, there was no brie on it. Just there was stuffing, turkey and gravy and a beautiful piece of bread. It was like I would have paid $50 for it. And it wasn't $50.
When did you go there?
I went with Sonia for lunch.
You should have the steak bites and the
steak bites are
the
good.
black and blue burger. When I'm on a kind of keto thing, I get the black and blue burger without the bun.
Oh, that's blue cheese?
Yeah.
There's two kinds of people in the world: those that like blue cheese and
I like blue cheese.
And me.
You can get it without. You can get it without it.
Okay, hot wings. Would you dip ranch or blue cheese?
I've won hot wing
Ranch.
eating contests. I know, just straight up.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on your mind before we let you go? Got to be something.
No, just you want to keep working on having a safer community, and trying to get people on the street, get them help. And just this morning again, there's a fire right beside my building. You know, we're talking right across the street, okay? Right across the street. Come on. Okay, there's day spaces in behind there. There's room in there for the people. It's no different than Tronquil corridor, okay? Come on. We got the whole parking lot of the Spiro House. Let them go there. They don't want to be on the curb. They don't want to be on the sidewalks.
What about Bill 45 then? That came up last night. And you said next week you're gonna.
Well, somebody said Bill C-45 was a motion brought up, but
no, it's Bill 45 from.
I know that now. Yeah, but I thought somebody said Bill C-45, and I was so again, it's I don't really want to get into it right now.
Okay.
But the bill that David Eby's government has proposed would basically prohibit cities like Kamloops from dismantling homeless encampments unless you, as a city, can show that they have housing to go to, which is not the city's responsibility. That's the concern of cities.
I think we can do a lot to mitigate that. Okay, I think that we can, like I said, when I go and talk on the beach to people on the streets there, and that they've been kicked out of facilities, and I know that these facilities are not plumb full, and they're definitely not bursting at the seams, okay? They're not, there's spaces in the areas of all these facilities, and we have a lot of them. We have a lot of facilities that are government subsidized. We have a lot of
hotels,
shelters. We've got room. I mean, come on, poor old Sammy, he died not 2 blocks away from the shelter that was at the curling rink. If we do not have an outreach worker that can go and get that poor guy in a wheelchair and get him into a safe spot, a wheelchair takes this much room.
There might be more of those people if this Bill 45...
If Bill 45 becomes law,
right?
You won't be able to...
Yeah, and I think the UBCM's working on that and stuff like that, so I think At this point, I don't know. I think that's great that they're working on it. So.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Volkswagen.
Today's segment, we're going to talk about what happened in our city last week. It was sad, tragic, terrible. 3 TNRD WolfPack volleyball players, among those involved in an accident. One of them has died, Owen McInnes, and 2 of them are severely injured, Riley Brennan and Owen Waterhouse. They're both from Kelowna. Owen McInnes is from Guelph, Ontario. They were hit in their vehicle by a truck that was going way too fast, somewhere around 100 kilometers, probably right around there. And Owen died, and there's kind of a tie-in with a local volleyball team, the South Kamloops Titans. They won a provincial title on the weekend. It was the first provincial boys volleyball title in the history of their school and in the history of our city. So it was a great, momentous occasion, but it was marred, obviously, by the fact that the volleyball community and our city as a whole had been devastated by this accident. One of these players, the one who passed away, Owen McInnes, was connected pretty tightly with that high school volleyball team, with the Titans. He went out and volunteered his time to coach for them. So they were heavily impacted when they heard the news of his accident, which they heard while they were in Langley last week at provincials. The parents, the families, and the players went and bought orange shirts from Michael's and made their own WolfPack makeshift shirts to support and put the numbers of the players who were involved on the back of them, and so you could see in the crowd, the traditional black and gold Titans colors had been kind of replaced by orange and black as a show of solidarity for these people. Anyway, just your thoughts on the accident.
It's tragic. It's probably needless. Once the investigation is done, there's only it happened on McGill Road, right where the landmark is. The volleyball players were in a small car at a red light waiting. There's a Jeep next to them, and this black truck was going very fast on McGill East, hit some trees, landed inside their car. It was brutal images. We don't know why this happened. We know the person in the truck, a man, I think he had a dog. He came out fairly unscathed. We don't know whether it was a person drunk driving. We don't know why they were speeding, whether it was road raging. We don't know whether it was a mechanical failure.
Medical condition.
We don't know if it was a medical condition. Yeah. We don't know any of that yet. That's going to come out in a long investigation. It reminds me very much of a few years ago, probably 5 years ago, when 3 students from Nigeria, I believe it was, international students were coming home from a night out, stone sober, driving up First Avenue, and they were broadsided by a man driving a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Going about 100, same estimated speed, crashed into them. All 3 died. A 4th student was seriously injured. And it took a long time for that to get through the courts. And it just reminded me of that, where it's just, there's nothing you can do. It has nothing to do with road safety. It has nothing to do with design of the roads. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just, in most part, stupidity on the part of the first incident. And we'll find out in this incident what happened. I suspect we probably know what the deal was. It's just tragic, unnecessary, needless. And the pain from that will reverberate to anger and frustration when it gets to the justice system, because we know what's going to happen is not going to be enough in the eyes of most people. But
yeah, it's young men in their early 20s. I know Owen, who passed away, was engaged to be married.
Just brutal.
Yeah. I went to the WolfPack office the day after it happened to interview Curtis Atkinson, the athletics director, and as I was walking in, they were finishing a staff meeting there. I've never felt the heaviness and the somberness and the looks on people's faces as they filed out of that office. It was jarring. And
that interview is on our YouTube website.
Yeah, and you'll see a clip of it here, because I interviewed Curtis in his office, and his office is 100 meters, 200 meters from where this accident happened. Yeah. And the Titans, to their credit, so they win their provincial title on the Saturday in Langley. Yeah. They stay overnight in Langley. They drive directly back to Kamloops, and they go straight to the memorial site that's now set up on McGill for Owen and the others who were involved in the accident. And I went and met them there, and you can see a clip of that right now.
It means a lot for sure, especially with what happened with Owen here. It's nice to be able to dedicate something to him.
We're at the spot where the crash happened, and I didn't actually realize you guys had a relationship with him, and he helped coach you guys. So what's it like to be here right now?
Yeah, for sure. He was more than just some random WolfPack player to us. He came to practices. It was special.
It's horrific. It's gut-wrenching. Our collective hearts are broken. To think about them and their families, their teammates, the broader community. Meeting with the teams over the last 18 hours, seeing the emotion from teammates, coaches, staff. It's devastating.
Yeah, Owen helped us out a lot with our club team for KVA and also our high school team. Our assistant coach, Angus Ireland, he's the assistant coach for TRU. And Owen was kind of his number one guy to ask and would always, at the drop of a dime, come help us out if we needed an extra body or whatever. And, we'll forever be grateful for that, for those memories that we've had with him. And, we're constantly thinking about him, his family, and the two other guys that are currently in critical condition still.
What was it like to go down 2-0, come back and win a BC title?
Oh, it was super exciting. It was super intense. It was definitely pretty nerve-wracking after losing those first two sets. We started off a little shaky, but just put our heads down and pushed as hard as we could and ended up coming out on top in the end. It was pretty exciting.
And you guys knew Owen. What's it like to be here right now and kind of honoring his memory?
Man, it's tough. I really just hope that his memory lives on and we're able to raise money for a scholarship fund and that his legacy lives on.
You guys went and had some shirts made at Michael's. You made your own shirts, and I think some parents went and got them, so you saw them spotted in the crowd. I mean, was he on your mind? I mean, when you were playing or before games or anything like that, or were you kind of focused on volleyball at that time?
Oh yeah, they was definitely in the back of our minds. Just paying respect to the shirts were paying respect to the three players that were involved in the car crash, and we were really pushed and did that tournament, played that final game as hard as we could for them, and we hope that that it resonated. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of their gold medals that they won. They left one of the gold medals with flowers down there with Owen. 3 of those Titans players are actually going to play at TRU. They've been recruited and they've signed to play for the WolfPack. That's never happened before. And Matt Lofgren there, the assistant coach, he used to play for the WolfPack. So there's all these different WolfPack tie-ins with this team that kind of came together in that story. There's a GoFundMe account set up for both Riley and Owen. And there is a TRU scholarship that you can donate to set up for Owen McInnes. It's tru.ca/OWYN Owen, so you can help out that way. Okay, let's wrap the show.
Good show. It's always good when we have local politicians on here because it's, as Mike said, it gets spicy. It's good. There's a lot of issues out there that people should know about and pay attention to, and it's good to have different councillors on. Last week we had Sarai. This week we had Bass and Hamer-Jackson. It's good to ask them questions, to get it out there. Hopefully a lot of people watch this because there's news out there, but it's diminishing.
Yeah.
And hopefully no more. You heard the CBC cuts are coming up. I hope it doesn't impact locally. But there's more. It makes this even more important to get the word out that people need to pay attention. There's a 11% in property tax increase coming up. There's a needless overpass coming up. People need to pay attention to this show, to all the news in town, and keep up on it, if only to vent when they can vent and know what you're venting about.
Thoughts on the show today, Mike?
One of the things I like about the show is that it's pretty open, it's candid. So the mayor or the councillors, they can say whatever they want, and we basically are pretty free with that. So I think today's show was a good show.
That is some of the benefits of having kind of an independent show. Is there are no rules essentially for us. We can talk about whatever we want, and we talked about a lot today.
An hour and 46
We're
minutes
going.
so
Oh yeah,
far.
Vinny's here. We got to go. Okay, thanks to our sponsors: Volkswagen of Kamloops, Gourds Appliance and Mattress Center, McDonald's, Macar Ranch, and the Kamloops Blazers are also on board. We're planning up a big thing with them for Christmas. Did he go? Is the elf coming? Buddy the elf? Can we tease him yet?
I'm still
Yes.
trying to get
I
hold
saw
of
that picture with the elf, Buddy the Elf and Santa last year. And
Yeah.
I was scrolling through my favorites and it was up there and somebody goes, "You know Santa?"
Yeah, we're hoping to have Buddy on again and get some kids to send in videos asking questions for Buddy the Elf. That was a lot of fun.
I still have to contact him.
Okay.
I am having trouble contacting him. Hopefully he can. We'll find out soon.
We're flying up the subscriber rate too here. We're 521 now subscribers, so we're flown past 500. We're heading towards 600. Thanks to all the Last Week Clique members for watching. We can't do our show without you. For Christopher Folds, for Magic Mike, and for Billah, I'm Marty, and we'll see you last week. Keep getting choked up on the bill.
Last.